and welcome to the second lesson of the science of well-being. Okay, so today I'm first going to recap to say that last time we looked at a misconception that we have about happiness. Okay, the main idea of last lesson was that knowing is not enough. So what does that mean, knowing is not enough? It means that we tend to know what we should be doing to be happier, but we don't want to do it. Okay, so knowing what to do is not enough for us to want to apply ourselves in the right way. So for example, if you feel that you're overweight and it really affects the way you feel about yourself and it makes you feel unhappy, knowing that you need to eat less fatty food or sugary food and do more sports is not enough for you to want to do it. Okay, because there's a lot of things, and that's what we're going to learn, a lot of things that stop us from putting the knowledge into action. So first thing we need to be aware is knowing what to do is not enough. Again, last time I did ask you to sort of write down what you thought you would want to be happy and write it down, and then what you know would make you happy according to science and media, etc., knowledge that we have heard. It's usually different, okay? We want things like, I want to have lots of money or be able to travel all the time. And really what makes us happy is a peace of mind and being calm and enjoying life and that type of thing. Right, so today we're going to continue, okay, about happiness. Okay, so we're going to go through today the different things that actually we think will make us happy. Okay, so the first thing, one of the things that we want to be happier is having a good job, because if we have a good job, we have a good salary. If we have a good salary, we have more money, and we think that's something that will make us happy. We imagine that will make us happy, but in reality, okay, they have done loads of research on this, and we find that actually, as you can see here, so I'll just put myself somewhere else. Okay, as you can see here, there is a relationship, a correlation between money and happiness. Okay, but as you can see from the line there in the chart, in the table, that after a certain amount of money, the line just flattens and doesn't really have an effect on how happy we feel. Okay, and the average, as you can see from there, it's in dollars, but I've put it roughly in pounds there at the top. So if you see here at the top, so basically from earning about 16,000 to 32,000, after that it's more or less flat. Okay, so basically when our basic needs of survival needs, meaning enough food, shelter, drink, warmth, that type of thing, are done, then after, it really doesn't have much effect. Okay, as you can see here, I wrote correlation between money and happiness is plus 0.1, knowing the maximum when we're talking about correlation is -1 lowest and +1 the maximum. So 0.1 is not a lot of correlation, hasn't got a big impact. So, and I think a lot of us know that. We hear that all the time. We hear money doesn't make you happy. We know it, but as I said last time, doesn't stop us from wanting more money. Okay, having a good job. That's why we want a good job, because we want to have more money. Okay, so what about another misconception? What about, it's not about having money, it's about how we spend it. Okay, if we buy stuff, would that make us happy? Okay, so if I buy the new iPhone or whatever, if I buy the wonderful house with 6 bedroom, if I buy the latest handbag and the little dog that goes with it, if I get the convertible car, blah, blah, blah. Because we do feel, if only I had that, I would be so happy. And we do believe that. And again, research shows that it's not really having a big impact. Okay, so if you look here, the difference between meaning and buying stuff. Okay, and we are becoming a society more and more materialistic and wanting to buy stuff. So, for example, here you can see. Okay, it's a survey that is not very recent, 2005, so we're talking 15 years ago, but it's looking at what is important in life for people in the 60s compared to more or less now. And as you can see, being very well off financially for us now is really important. I guess 71%, right? And in the 60s, it was 42%. And having a meaningful life, okay, now is only 52%, and in the 60s it was 86%, because now we think we want more stuff, and we think stuff is more important than meaning. And it's just a little cartoon about how things have changed from around Christmas, okay, because now we want more present and bigger and better every year, okay, and it's changing. And increasing money, okay, we think that it would make us happy, but research has showed actually it's very little difference in our well-being between now and, in the 50s and the 60s. We are way of life as really the amount of money we've got now has really increased, but our level of happiness hasn't. And the number of depression and condition of mental illness has increased. I mean, we're probably better at more aware of it now, so that's probably has an impact as well. But we know anxiety and stress and depression is increasing all the time, and our values, like it showed in the research that I just showed you, are decreasing. We don't really care about meaning and values. We just want more stuff. So, right, and this here that it shows rich countries have made great progress in material terms over the last 50 years, and yet modern life remains full of problems, okay, and loads of anxiety, broken relationship, divorce, etc., and decline in value and trust and social connectedness. Okay, so we've just seen having a good job doesn't make you happier, buying stuff doesn't make you happier. What about true love? That's another thing we tend to want, okay? We tend to want to find the ideal person, to our partner, it's going to make us really happy ever after. We really believe that. Again, what does the research show? Well, research here, as you can see, is how happy, a level of happiness before, okay, so at the beginning of about 7.3, right? Then we meet the person, it does increase, okay, then we get married, and it goes down. Okay, so basically 2 years before we meet the person, 2 years before we get married, so when we meet the person, and then 2 years after has a peak, has an effect, so 4 years of improvement, and then we go back to baseline. So what it means is it has an effect, but it doesn't last forever. Okay, and we all know that marriage can finish in disaster and true love doesn't always exist. Okay. Another thing that we think will make us happy is improving our physical appearance, okay? Being beautiful, handsome, and having a lovely body, and being young, and all this type of thing we think will make us happy. Again, it's more or less a myth, okay? We look at people that tried to lose weight, for example. Here is research that's been done, okay? We asked people that were obese or needing to lose weight to go on the diet, for 4 years, and then we sort of meet them after 4 years after they've been on the diet, and measure their level of happiness. So whether it's reduced, depressed mood, okay, and we can see the people's lost weight, okay, their level of depressed mood has actually increased 4 years later. The people that didn't, after the diet, didn't really lose weight, they stayed the same. They still felt that the level of depressed mood has increased, okay? Not as much as the first group, but still. And the ones who gain weight, okay, again, their depressed mood has increased, but not as much as the other two. So we completely wouldn't believe that. We would think, no, if I lose weight, I'm going to be happier with the way I look. But actually, it's not the reality. And all sorts of reasons, isn't it? Because, I've watched a program of people losing weight, and then after they've lost weight, what the problem is that they have loads of skin, that is loose skin, and then they focus on that, and they don't like their new self because of this new problem, and all sorts of things, isn't it? So losing weight is not the way to feel better about ourselves. I've done the research about people having plastic surgery at a young age, when they're teenagers, and see whether that improved their mood. They obviously, the research was done with people that actually were feeling bad about themselves. That's why they wanted plastic surgery. And then afterwards, they sort of did, here you can see they did some research whether they've increased the amount of alcohol and bad behaviour, really, for their self-suicidal thoughts and physical self-harm, etc. And it all increase after the cosmetic surgery. So changing your appearance doesn't make you feel better. Okay, and what about good performance, achieving something, getting good grades at your exams and things like that? And what we realise when we do research is that we think those things really will make us happy. We predict wrong. So you can see here, okay, so if you get a higher grade than you expected, okay, we predict, if we were getting a better grade than we expected, that we would feel much happier. Okay, and that if it was exactly the same, be happy, but not as much. And then if it was lower than expected, we think it would actually upset us. Okay, but in reality, the results are not. There is a difference. Look, there is a difference, but it's tiny. It doesn't have that much impact. So we don't want the right things. Okay, all those things that we think, good job, money, buying awesome stuff, true love, perfect body, good performance, those things do not bring us happiness. Okay, right. So that was the second truth of today's lesson, okay? And to illustrate that, I've put 2 quotes there, okay? If you always do what you've always done, you will always get what you've always got. Okay, so basically, if you keep doing the same thing, you will get the same results. Okay, Albert Einstein said, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different results. So basically, this lesson, this session, was all about showing us that the thing that we think are going to make us happy don't tend to make us happy. Therefore, we need to want to change this. Okay, if we want happiness, basically being more happy, more content with our lives, we need to want different things. Because if we don't, we will have the same thing, the same result. It's not going to change if we don't change what we do. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed this, and I see you next time. Bye. Oops. Right. maybe one day I will manage to stop. Bye.